identical.
Bill, look away. Immediate.
I knew Ginny was lying about that tattoo.
Yes, it's all very touching. Let's go!
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And so Tucker Carlson should be flattered that a gay millennial TikToker who is known as King Faber, lives in Portland, raises goats, fixes trucks, has recently come to the realization that she, well, looks just like Tucker.
Being a well-established gay, I never imagined myself on the side of TikTok that thinks I look like Tucker Carlson, but here we are. And I gotta be honest, I know of this man, but I could not pick him out of a lineup. So I'm gonna Google him, and we're gonna see if you guys are onto something or not.
So let's see, 2 or 3 TikToks later, we get a 23andMe.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight's story.
That's so awesome. It's so rare to see somebody who is actually owning it. So rare to see somebody who embraces the joke and doesn't get offended and brings people together instead of divides them. And so because we were so inspired by that, we said, why not invite King Faber on our program and talk to, well, Tucker Carlson's stunt double herself. And to our delight, King Faber said, let's do it. So here we go. Joining us now, the one and only King Faber, also famous for, I guess, being Tucker Carlson's body double.
That's what they tell me. The internet's a wild place.
So earlier this week, we saw one of your TikToks pop up in our feed. And it was you were in a vehicle, you were in your car, I assume, and you were saying, people tell me I look like Tucker. And you Googled Tucker, I think for the first time ever. And and then you filmed your reaction to that. And I think you got a lot of love on the internet for that. And I want to begin by complimenting you because most people either get offended or can't take a joke or get angry if they see something they don't like on the internet. But you seem to really roll with it.
To me, it was funny. I mean, it's kind of just like an automatic drag king impersonation, you know? And how can you not roll with that? I filmed that video very genuinely, and I have gotten a lot of speculation to say that, oh yeah, she was faking it. She knows who Tucker Carlson is, and I did know him. My mom's a big fan. My mom's a big fan of you, by the way. Also,
oh, no way.
Yeah, and so I knew of him, but I don't really live a lot of my life online other than the videos I post. So I'd never seen him before, and I just thought, well, this is going to be a funny opportunity to have a very genuine reaction, and I didn't take it as an insult. He's a decent looking guy, you know, he's obviously pretty successful, so who could be mad about that? And I'm a big believer that if we can laugh, we should. I mean, there's enough arguing going on, and I don't really want to be a part of any of that. I'd rather build community over positivity. So I rolled with it, and I'm honestly having a ton of fun.
What a wonderful way to approach the world. I think we'd have, I mean, legitimately a much better country if more people just laughed instead of argued and got the joke. And I guess the joke was, I mean, I gotta say, like looking here at the monitor, you do have the Tucker hair. The Tucker hair is there. All right. And sort of the structure. Okay. You look young. All right. It's a compliment. Right. You look young. All right. You have and no one would say Tucker doesn't have a great head of hair. So.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. And it's just proof that us with these crazy wings, we can actually be successful someday. You know, it's just, I spent all my life trying to tame it down. Who knew it would actually work for me?
But you took it, instead of taking it as an offense, you took it as a compliment. And I think that's very rare. And it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, well, and I couldn't deny the fact that, you know, once I got into it and I saw all the comments rolling, of course, there were some people who took things too far on either side or the other. But the overwhelming positivity and like how many people were telling me that, like, you know, we just really need this laugh right now, you know, and I mean, I needed the laugh too. So I can relate with that. And I appreciated how how well everybody was taking it, and it's been a pleasure. It really has.
So many people are familiar with your first post, which went thermonuclear viral. I'm
Yeah.
sure tens of millions of people have seen it. Fewer may be familiar with your follow-up DNA test that you got
Yeah.
in the mail, where you did a 23andMe, and maybe you can explain to us the results of this 23andMe. Are you related to Tucker Carlson? I mean, your mom clearly likes him.
Right, right. I mean, I'm sure she would be ecstatic if I was, but they sent me a bow tie, so it left it pretty open ended until I put it on, in my opinion. So, and then just the inner journalist just flowed out, So maybe it does run in the family.
Look at this. It's so rare, Faber, because this is what owning it looks like. And the people who can do this, the people who can laugh at themselves, are actually the most confident people on earth. It's very refreshing to see.
My biggest concern with all of this is, honestly, I just don't know how long I can commit to this haircut. So if I cut this hair, is it going to go away?
Yes. So a couple quick things, quick questions, because a lot of people want to know about you. Have you ever seen Tucker Carlson's show? I mean, did you ever watch it?
No, I haven't. And I actually didn't even watch any videos leading up to doing that TikTok you just showed, because everybody was saying the resemblance was so uncanny and authentic. I wanted it to be as authentic as possible. So I imagine I will be probably doing more studying in the future. I don't know. I've always been a terrible student, but from what I've learned too online, he's different than I thought he was. I think we oftentimes assume in political circles that people are certain ways. I know people have been doing it to me the whole time, and I'm guilty of having done that to Tucker when I posted that first video also. So I definitely think I will be looking into it more now that this has happened.
Yeah, people like to live inside of boxes. It's another reason why people can't take a joke, is because they like to shove complicated human beings who are real people into like these little widget boxes and try and peg you down. And we're guilty of that literally on this show. You made a TikTok calling us out because we called you Gen Z, but that's just take it as a compliment. In our headline, we just thought you looked young. You look young. Tucker's a young looking guy. Tucker's in his mid 50s. But you are a millennial. You are you would qualify as a millennial. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think the Gen Z mark is 97, and I was born in 90. So yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, but I do take it as a compliment. It doesn't bother me at all to look younger than I am. It's the only time that it gives me any trouble is when I do need to have any kind of authority, like in a working situation or something like that. And then people will look at me and be like, why is this child speaking? And then I just like to hit him with back when I was in Iraq, because I am a veteran. And then I like to watch them struggle over that for a minute. They're trying to do math in their head, like, how's this kid doing this? But overall, I take it as a compliment.
The fact that you served your nation didn't come necessarily as a massive surprise to us, because you seem just like such a confident person who's built a pretty awesome life, got yourself a retro Bronco, got yourself some goats. But maybe you could expound. Maybe that would come as a surprise to many of our viewers that you were in the Army. Can you talk to us about your service?
I'm sure it would, because, like you said, we like to put people in boxes, and I do. My main thing is entertaining and being funny and singing. And I don't think, then also being gay, I don't think we relate that kind of lightheartedness with people in the military. But yeah, I was in the Army, and I think the ability to roll with it definitely came from my time in the military, because you are around so many different people all the time, and you're forced to get along. You really are. But then you find that you make your best friends out of people that you would have never talked to otherwise. So I definitely have translated a lot of that into the communities I tried to build around me now. But I was in the Army for a long time. I did about 6 years. So
wow. And you were deployed. You were deployed.
I was. Yes, I was. I went to Iraq.
Wow. Tough times.
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? It was one big party.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, a deployment is on kind of a spectrum. People can have pretty difficult deployments and people can have pretty easy. Not easy. It's never easy, obviously, but staying on bases or stuff. I would say, in a lot of ways, I was very lucky, but going over there is definitely challenging, but coming back can be harder. And I think that's where I ran into most of the difficulty, was trying to transition back into civilian life.
Yes.
They give you years of training to go and then a week or two to adjust to being home. And, so that's really where I struggled the most.
And so home, and we've never met, but we did go through your TikTok, and we could pop it up right here. Your TikTok's incredible and very, very entertaining. There is some singing on there. There is also some goats. Yeah. There's also a retro Bronco on there that you are maintaining or fixing up. It looks like it's in perfect condition. Can you tell me about like life now, right? Like, so life after the military, life now. It seems very eclectic.
Oh yeah, I've been very lucky to be able to do and make of my life what I want it to be. That was one thing that the deployment did give me, was a little bit of money to buy a house when houses were on sale back in 2011, and so I've been able to take that space and kind of turn it into what I want. Hence the goats, and I'd love to have like a little hobby farm. I want to get chickens eventually, and just kind of live out that more simple side of things. I love building things, and I'm gonna build a barn this year. I'm really excited about stuff like that. I'm just a simple person, and this Bronco was actually a gift from my uncle, so he owned it and he passed it down to me. So I'm not a car person. It gives me another thing that I can learn and try to invest my time in to make my life what I want it to be, which I've been very lucky to do here.
Are you a full-time farmer?
No,
would you consider yourself
I have
a full-time?
I have a full-time job, and I actually kind of have two. I work with my dad in a family-owned business, and then I am getting my certification to be a CrossFit coach this weekend. So I kind of have those two jobs, and then all of this that I'm also doing on the side.
We saw some workout videos that Tucker Carlson definitely couldn't pull off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, CrossFit's probably the only thing I'm not self-taught at. I've got a pretty great coach there, but again, it's community, and I really do try to make my whole life a community-based project.
So this seems like a very, very interesting life. Tucker Carlson goes and does interview. Would you sit down with Tucker Carlson for an interview? I mean, he goes and he does very interesting stories like this.
If he wanted to, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I would definitely not turn that down. My mom would lose it.
The cameraman would be like, "Wait a second, which is A cam? Which one's A cam? Which one? Who's doing the interview here?
Yeah,
Hold on, hold on."
Do you think I should wear the bow tie?
I mean, Tucker doesn't do the bow ties anymore, so yeah, it could be like looking. You're like 20 years younger than Tucker, so it could be
flashback.
like, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
The live flashback. All right, perfect.
See, look at that good-looking guy. Perfect.
I want to talk about the responses, because obviously something like this, anything that even touches the third rail of politics in the country has the capacity to bring out a lot of haters, some of the worst elements of the internet. Have you received any of that? Or has the response been generally positive?
Oh, well, I think the positive response has outweighed the negative. I mean, and you definitely, I don't have to tell you this, but there are always going to be crazies on the internet. So it just seems like every negative response is just like, well, that's a little too crazy. Like, it's hard to take offense to that when, obviously you came here to be mad, so they've been really easy to ignore the hate. And like, there's been so much overwhelming positivity, and laughter surrounding this, that those comments, to me, they just get lost really quickly. Yeah.
Has this, I mean, it seems like you have a really nice life rolling for you, Faber, but
I do.
Have you considered a talk show? Considering the fact that you already have a genetic blessing here as Tucker Carlson, whatever you think of Tucker Carlson, one of the most listened to men on earth, for sure. One of the most popular talk show hosts in American history. You know, you do have a built-in genetic advantage, right? If you started a talk show.
That is true. And I do love to hear what I have to say. So being paid to talk would be pretty beneficial. So who knows? I mean, I am riding this wave wherever it takes me, to be honest with you.
It's so wonderful to hear that your mother is a fan of Tucker Carlson. What does she think of all of this? Is she delighted?
Yes. Yeah. I actually didn't tell her right away because I didn't know what she was gonna think about all that very sudden attention on her daughter. And then when Cat Turd reposted it, she's a huge fan of his, and so I was like, oh boy, I have to tell her now. And so I FaceTimed her to tell her because I wanted to see her face, and she laughed so hard. She said, it's so funny, I've been following these people for so long and you don't even really know who they are, but somehow you're getting put out here on their social medias and stuff. And I was like, I gave her credit. I was like, well, you sowed the seeds for me, obviously. She loved it.
Did your mom ever say, you know what? Like, you look like Tucker Carlson. Did your mom ever say that? Or was this something that was like sort of a font of the internet, kind of the way the internet works?
Yeah, once the internet pointed it out, she did say, you know what, I can kind of see it. She really wants to get a t-shirt with a side-by-side of my face and Tucker's face right next to each other to wear around. So
we actually made one. I think the producers can go grab it. We actually made a side-by-side. We will be happy. We have our own t-shirt company. We'd be happy to make one and send it to your mom. You can just be great. You can tell my producers the address, and we will ship it out.
She would love that. She'd be like, my kid Tucker who? I got a t-shirt from the Benny Johnson show.
Yeah, until Tucker shows up with the interview equipment. Until Tucker shows up for the interview. So we have, I mean, I worked at Tucker Carlson's news site. We're very friendly with Tucker on this program. We have producers that work very closely with him, and we're big fans of Tucker, and we communicate with him, and we talk with him about this. He loves it. He thinks it's one of the he takes it as well as you are. He's out of the country right now, but like I would expect actually probably a phone call from his team.
Oh, wow.
Like this is exactly the kind of thing that he would love to. He would like lean in on. And now that he's doing his own. Well, there you go. Okay, there's the thumbnail. Now that he's doing his own program, we can confirm for you directly from the man that he thinks it's hilarious, and so that the likeness is spot on. So there you go.
That's pretty great. Wow.
Expect a call. I'm sure your mother's Christmas will be made.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, she's taking, birthday, Christmas, she's taken care of for the year.
So Faber, I want to again, put your account up. I want to encourage everybody to go follow Faber. But give you sort of this is your X account. And then also let's put up the TikTok. I wanted to give you an opportunity since the world is like kind of desperate for positivity, and for people to not just be so prickly all the time, and so like walking on eggshells. It seems like our society has lost the ability to take a joke or to like laugh, even if they disagree with someone politically, God forbid. Maybe the floor is yours. Maybe like your outlook on life. Like, what is it about your outlook on life that allowed you to be able to like kind of roll with this? And maybe that could give people a little extra uplifting today.
I think probably one of the best things that ever happened to me was, I grew up in a time where I was very different, for like sexuality reasons and things along those lines, but I was never in a group where I was understood. So I never looked for that solidarity anywhere, because I think one of the best ways to build community is to love and accept that everybody is going to bring a different strength and a different outlook and a different point of view. So for me, I always wanted to be a place where everybody felt they could go. And that's kind of how I approach everything. And I'm human just like anybody else. I do, take offense to things sometimes, or, you want to get mad or single somebody out. But but to me, that kind of stuff is counterproductive. I'm no smarter, no better than anybody else. I don't know better than anyone. I only know my life and my experience, and that's how I feel about everyone. Is they only know the shoes that they're walking in. So I just try to give people room to be exactly that.
Oh, so you're like you're like a person who says you're an accepting, tolerant human being, and you actually practice that.
I try to. I'm human just like everybody else, but as long as you're not hurting anybody, you're good by me, pretty much.
There's a lot of people who says they're very tolerant, and then the moment they see something they disagree with, send them to jail, straight to Gitmo.
That is true. I've definitely been I've been the person people want to send to jail sometimes. So I do understand that.
Well, final question is very important. How many goats do you have?
I have 2.
You have 2 goats. What are their names?
I have 2 goats. Penny and Nickel.
Penny and Nickel. All right.
Yeah. We call the farm Spare Change Farms. So like a little joke. It's just a hobby farm, but I thought it was cute.
Amazing. I hope it is the #1 attraction in Oregon in the coming years. I hope that more people watch this and adopt your outlook in life, because not only is it like good for the soul, it keeps you young.
Yeah, there you go. That's my skin treatment right there.
That's right. A lot of smiling and laughing and not taking yourself so seriously. It's really refreshing to see. King Faber. The king, Tucker Carlson. Many said Tucker Carlson was the king of cable. Well, you're looking at the king of TikTok. We cannot encourage you enough to go follow this account. And and maybe we'll have the much needed uplifting that everyone's been looking for. Thank you so much for being on the program. It was an inspiration.
Yes, thank you. And I really enjoyed your video. I thought it was really, really well done. So it made it easy to say yes. So thank you.
All right, and shout out to your mom.
Thank you,
Mom Faber. All right, see ya.
All right, bye-bye.